So, have you ever thought about perhaps having a stall or a stand at a trade show or an exhibition or a fair or a horse show, and you're wondering if it is the right decision for you to grow your business? If you've ever thought about this question, great news, because that's exactly what I'm going to talk to you today about. I'm going to talk about what you need to know and how to decide whether it's really worth it. So stay tuned, grab a pen and a paper now, because I'm going to be sharing some really key tips that are going to help you to make that decision. And if you're wondering how to make the most of the event, check out the next video, because I'm going to go through all the details that you need to know on that one. I am Jenny Bush. I'm an online business coach and consultant, helping you to up the pace and build a stable yet successfully balanced business. Now, before I dive in, I do want to let you know that if you stay to the end, I'm going to be revealing how you can get your hands on my free Equine business planner, which will help to turn that wild business into a wildly successful one. Now, before I dive in, I just want to let you know, stay till the end, because I'm going to be sharing all my tips with you, but also how you can get your hands on my free Equine business planner. Before we begin, let me know in the comments, are you A, thinking about exhibiting for the first time, or B, have you exhibited before and you weren't really sure if it was worth it and want to just make sure that you didn't miss anything and you're thinking about doing it again? So let me know, are you A or are you B? Here are what you need to ask yourself in order to make sure that you are making the right decision as whether this show is the right investment for your business. So the first thing that I want you to do is to be really sure on who your ideal clients are, and are they actually likely to be there? Like, there is no good you going to an event. It's like going to a wedding fair and then trying to get somebody to book in for riding lessons. It would be ridiculous. You might still get somebody, but is it the right show? Is it the right event? And you only know that if you know who your ideal clients are. Now, in the Stable Foundations Hub, I talk a lot about how to find your perfect paying partners, and we go through all the research and the vetting stages so that you can really understand who it is that you're trying to target and where they are. Now, if you've already done that, you should be able to answer this question really easily. So first of all, are your ideal clients likely to be there? Are they really, truly, genuinely likely to be there? That is normally a good sign. If you can answer yes to that one, this show might be the one for you. So the next thing that you need to know is, what is the predicted footfall or ticket sales, or how many visitors are likely to attend? Now, I will let you know that one of the things that those that are organising the show, they don't really know how many, but they give you a predicted amount. I would always err on the lower side of that and think, okay, if I go a bit lower than that, will it still be okay for me? Sometimes they do go over, but again, if this is a new event, they don't really know what they're likely to get. If it's an event that's run previously, they've got a good idea because they've actually run it and they know how many came last time. But again, the last few years, things have been a bit iffy with sort of in-person events. So again, err on the side of caution for what the numbers are, but make sure that you know the predicted footfall or the ticket sales. Now, the other thing that's really important with that is make sure that they tell you how many people they are actually expecting through the door as visitors, because sometimes they will give you the number of people they're expecting there, and that could be including all the people who are actually exhibiting. And I know I've been to shows before, not with my business currently, but with my previous business. I used to do a lot of wedding shows and a lot of wedding events, and sometimes there would be more vendors, more stalls than there were people actually through the door. So make sure that you understand that. Does that include, is that the vendors as well, or is that just people that they're expecting to visit the show? So number 3 is, what is the cost of the event? So they will tell you how much it's going to be, because this is a biggie. At the end of the day, you are in business, you're there to make money, and you want to make sure that you get a return on your investment. This should be something that actually pays off for your business. Now, with some shows and events, you won't be able to make money on the day, depending on what your business is. Like, if you haven't got a product that you sell or something you can sell there and then, you are going to need to know like what the cost is and drag that out over a period of time, because sometimes the people who see you there might not be ready to book or work with you there, but they may add on to your list and they'll be ready to work with you 6 months, 12 months down the line. So what is the cost per visitor to you at that show? So take that number that they tell you, say it's £500 to attend this show, and then divide it by how many visitors they're expecting, so you know actually if they're expecting like 10,000 visitors, what would that be? I need a calculator now. Right, let's work it out. So if the event for example, costs you £500, but they're expecting 5,000 people through the door, that is 10 pence per visitor. 10 pence per visitor, who is then, out of those, how many of those are likely to be leads for you? Because you're not going to get all 5,000. But if you were to get 100 of those people, would that be worth your while if you look at that price? So do a little bit of the sums and try and think, actually, is this worth it? Whereas if the event says only £50, but actually they're only going to get 20 people through the door, you might think, oh, that's no brainer. But actually at £2.50 per visitor, you might be better to put your money into a Facebook ad. Does that make sense? Because it's going to be less time and less effort. Because you've also got to calculate, as part of this, it's not just the money that goes into the show. You've got to calculate what equipment you're going to need. Do you need to hire anything? Do you need to have tables? Do you need to have tablecloths? I mean, it's silly, I know, but do you need to have things? Do you need to get printing of marketing materials? Do you need to have things to give out? Plus then you've got your prep time, you've got your travel time to get to the event, and then you've got your time actually at the event and the time you come away. It can be a really long, tiring day. So you may find that you need to pay somebody to be with you, because if you are thinking about doing an event, and I'm telling you this from experience, don't ever do it on your own. Don't ever do it on your own. You need to have downtime, you need to have breaks, you need to have lunch, and you can't leave that stall unmanned. And you don't want to be leaving it, and you don't want to be eating and drinking and stuff too much on the stand. You need to be making sure that you are making the most of every opportunity that comes past you. So think about the total cost of the events and not just the price. Like, what will you need? Will you need to buy some? And yeah, some of those things, if you're going down the road, you're going to have several shows, it's worth the investment. But if you're just doing it as a one-off, really work out what is the actual cost of this event to you. Then number 4 is, I'm going to talk a bit more about your return on investment. So what is the purpose of that show for your business? Like, my business doesn't sell products, so I couldn't go there like a tack shop and sell a whole load of bridles to somebody to all the horse owners that are going there. I'm very specific that I'm looking for business owners. So I would be there in order to connect with people and to generate leads. So that would be a connection show for me. If I was there to engage and make sales, that's actually making a transaction there and then, and I could possibly do that. But also I could perhaps think about having a strategy where I get people to book in to actually sit down and take some time with me, and actually even offer strategy sessions there and then on the day. That could possibly happen. So I could make some sales, but I'd need to work out, okay, will I be able to do that, and is that worth it? Is that worth it for me? So looking at the costs again, thinking of that return on investment. And I would say with shows and events, sometimes these things really do pay off, but at the time you go home feeling a little bit deflated because you didn't get a lot of people definitely booking in. You must make sure that if you're going for leads, that you have a strategy to collect those leads. But I will talk about that more in the next video, where I go through actually how to make the most of your trade stand or exhibition stand. And then making sure that when you go home and you feel like, I haven't done anything, remind yourself that actually the work that you do today might pay off 3 months, 6 months, 10 months down the line, especially if you get them onto your email list. Okay. And so then once you're looking at everything, so you've looked at your numbers, you've looked at your return on investment, ask yourself, if you're there to make sales, which if you've got a product, how much would you actually need to break even? Like, what is the minimum that you would need to do on the day to break even? And that's really, really important, because then you've got a target. You can actually set the strategy and the plan to make that happen. And so I'll be talking about that strategy in the next video. But if you are there to connect with people and to generate leads, like, what would you need to break even from that? Like, considering it could take you 12 months, how many would you need? So if, for example, if I took on a one-to-one client from a trade show in that year who came to me via that trade show, one client would be worth £3,000 to me. So if the trade stand is only asking for 1,500, and I could, if I did my job well enough, and I could get one client or two clients or three clients in the course of a year, would be really worth my time. So ask yourself all of that. And again, remember, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of time, there's a lot of preparation involved. You're probably going to need at least a week minimum to just prep. You might have to stay somewhere overnight. You need to make sure that you prep everything you possibly need. But I'll be going through all of those details next video. I've already said that. I know I've already said that. Okay. So I hope these tips have been useful. And they've got you sort of thinking. If you've got any more questions or you want some support or help, make sure that you get into the Equestrian Business Support Network, because this is my free community for equine business owners, where you can also grab your free equine business planner, and there's lots more goodies in there, especially for equine business owners. So I'll pop the link to the group in the description below, but all you've got to do is head to Facebook and search for the Equestrian Business Support Network. But if you enjoyed this, don't forget to hit the subscribe and that little notification bell to make sure that you get notified when I post the next video. Okay, now some action. Tell me in the comments which of these you are going to make sure that you consider, or which was an aha moment, because I'd love to know. And of course, if you'd like to know more about working with me, head to jennibush.com, JENNI bush.com, and maybe check out the Stable Foundations Hub, because that's a really good place to get started. So thank you again for watching. If you would like to check out the next video, which is all about how to make the most of that event or that trade show, that you can actually get that return on investment with my special tips, then you just need to click choosing one of these videos here. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't ever miss a video from me. And of course, find me on social media at Equine Business Assistant. I look forward to seeing you soon.